Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, my first guest this morning is Sharon Cunningham of Shorla Pharma. Sharon was recently crowned Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur, and she joins me now with her co-founder, Orla Ryan. Sharon, start by telling us about your own journey and how you joined forces with Orla Ryan.
Thanks, Karl, and thank you very much for inviting us onto your show. As you said, so I'm the recent winner of Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur competition, and it's for my business, Shorla Pharma, which I co-founded with Orla Ryan in January 2018. I'm actually an accountant, and Orla is the scientist. I practiced as an accountant. I trained with PricewaterhouseCoopers before joining Airgen Pharma in Waterford. Airgen was in the relatively early days when I joined, and once that company was sold in 2015, Orla and I had, I suppose, reached the top of our respective fields of regulatory affairs and finance, and we decided to join forces and set up our own company. We spent 2 full years researching and preparing our business plan before we formally started Shorla in January of 2018.
So, Orla, what is Shorla Pharma?
Thank you, Karl. Delighted to tell you about Shorla Pharma. So we are a specialty pharmaceutical company based in Clonmel, County Tipperary, and we develop innovative products in the oncology space with a focus on unmet needs, with a particular interest in women's and paediatric cancers.
And Orla, are you creating new cancer drugs from scratch, or are you working with existing prescriptions to make them more user-friendly?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work on existing active substances, but we do something novel or different with them to create a solution to a problem in the current clinical setting. So we're not new drug discovery, but neither are we generic drugs. So we change the existing products in some way to make them more user-friendly or easier or less toxic on the body.
And Orla, why was there a need to do that?
So I suppose we identified the market opportunity based on our expertise in that space, but very early on we engaged clinicians and oncologists to work through the opportunity as we saw it. And I suppose they validated that while chemotherapy is extremely effective in many cases, it doesn't come without problems. So they're the problems that we want to solve.
And Sharon, as a startup in the pharma sector, I would imagine that this is a capital-intensive space. So how have you funded the business to date?
Absolutely, and I suppose working capital was one of the main issues for us in the very beginning. Orla and I invested our own savings in the business, and in the interim period, we actually supported ourselves when we started off by doing some consultancy assignments to help with cash flow. In addition to that, we approached our local enterprise office here in Tipperary, and they were very supportive in terms of funding us from an employment perspective, and also they supported the building of our website and some overseas conferences. And really they ensured that we were investor ready before we took in investment in Q4 2018.
And Orla, I know that since the company was established last year, you've developed a pipeline of 4 products. In the case of the paediatric cancer drug, what improvements have been made by Shorla Pharma?
Yeah, so we have created a working, stable formulation. So the product in itself is quite unstable in that it can degrade, the shelf life is difficult to maintain, and ultimately then it's being manipulated in practice to make it easier for the patient to ingest. So the improvements we've made is by creating an oral solution that is also stable and brings a viable shelf life to ultimately deliver a safer product to the patient.
And how are clinicians reacting to Shorla Pharma's products? And did you consult with leading oncology clinicians in the research and product development stages?
Absolutely, and that was paramount to our development, extremely important to validate the ideas that we had. So the US is our initial target market, so a lot of our engagement to date has been with key opinion leaders and leading children's hospitals in the US to convey and work on our ideas in order to get these workable solutions. And they have been very excited. The paediatric space in particular is an area not always addressed by big pharmaceutical companies, and it's really an unmet need that they're excited we're addressing.
And Sharon, who was the target customer for Shorla Pharma? And talk us through the sales pipeline that you follow when selling to this particular market base.
The customer is the prescribing oncologist. In terms of selling to these customers, We will engage with specialty distributors. The US is our initial target market. We will engage with commercial strategists to ensure that these products are priced appropriately and reimbursed accordingly.
Now, Orla, the business truly has global potential, but have you commenced the process to obtain FDA approval in the US as of yet?
Absolutely, and regulatory is my background, so I understand the importance of engaging the health authorities quite early in the development process. So when we were defining our project plans, early engagement and early meetings with health authorities were key. So we have had our first successful FDA meeting on one of our products in June of this year, with another one to come. So very early on, we're agreeing our strategy, our route to market, and we're incorporating regulatory requirements, quality by design, into our developments very early in the process.
Now, Sharon, as I mentioned, you were announced as this year's winner of Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur competition. What did this win mean for the business, and what did you take from the entire IBYE process?
Sure. So winning the competition has already had a huge impact for us. We're currently fundraising, and the national and international exposure that has come from it has been really quite phenomenal. The validation of the business plan that comes from the competition, the boot camps, the pitching practice, the networking with like-minded individuals, and the access to expert mentors along the way has been hugely beneficial to the company. We really feel that the competition has greatly enhanced our credibility as a globally focused pharmaceutical company.
And with the prestigious title, of course, came an investment fund of €40,000. How do you plan to use this fund to benefit the business?
Yes, so that €40,000 will go a long way to our pre-launch plans for Shorla Pharma.
Orla, at present you are focusing on a particular niche in the female and paediatric cancer drug space. Do you plan to always stay in this niche or to broaden the scope of Shorla Pharma?
So from a scope perspective, Karl, we will always operate in areas of unmet need. A lot of the indications that we work on are considered orphan designated. So they're for indications that occur not as often as other more common disease. So that's the area that we see needs to be addressed, and we will pursue it.
And Sharon, as the business grows, how have you quantified the job creation potential of Shorla Pharma?
Yes, so Shorla will employ around 14 highly technical people by 2021 in Clonmel, so benefiting the local economy and attracting knowledge and expertise into the region, and building upon the existing cluster here in Clonmel, offering local graduate opportunities with full training and development.
And Orla, finally, you are in a market which contains many large pharmaceutical brands. Do you expect them to copy Shorla Pharma's processes and replicate these improvements?
That's an excellent question, Karl, and protectability is extremely important to the company. So very early on in our development process, we devised robust IP strategies and market exclusivity strategies. So I mentioned previously that a lot of the indications we're working on are considered orphan. And one of the incentives health authorities give to companies working on such products is market exclusivity. So it protects you from other companies entering the space. Similarly, strong IP protection ensures that your products can't be replicated.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Sharon Cunningham and Orla Ryan from Shorla Pharma. It's certainly a pioneering business with a very bright future.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast